A burning issue on several people's lips in India is foreigners should not comment on India's internal issue. This begs the question, do foreigners have rights to comment on a country's internal matter? Does it even matter if an issue is internal? What qualifies an internal issue? Who decides whether the matter is internal or external? Where do you draw a line? At what stage does an internal matter stop being internal alone and becomes international concern? Does benchmark for human rights, liberty and freedom differ from nation to nation? This video attempts to address these questions. Let us establish a principle on when a matter is internal and when it no longer remains internal. Not so long ago in India, famous Indian singer Sonu Nigam wrote a series of tweets that questioned the need for mosques in India to use a loudspeaker while calling out daily prayers. Seemingly annoyed by the sound of azan call to prayers in a mosque, Sonu tagged it as forced religiousness. Sonu faced a massive backlash, predominantly from Muslim community. He was heavily criticized for his tweets. A Muslim cleric even declared a fatwa on Sonu Nigam, offering rupees 1 million to anybody who shaved off the singer's head. Prayers on loudspeaker is not limited to Muslims alone. Hindus, Sikhs, Christians routinely do it in India. While chanting prayers could be an internal matter of a religious community, but using loudspeaker for prayers disturbs peace and tranquility of others. Then it does not matter whether it's an internal matter of a community or not. Sonu Nigam was victimized for stating what would have been a concern of several others. So how would have similar situation been dealt in my country of residence, Australia? Firstly, it's an offense to make unreasonable noise. If anyone feels the noise is unreasonable, they can take up to the authorities and prompt action will be taken. Police and council officers can direct offenders to stop unreasonable noise. Failure to comply with the police or council direction is an offense, and offenders may receive on-the-spot fines. As for a religious cleric issuing fatwa for calling someone to shave Sonu's head for raising his concern on unreasonable noise, had any religious preacher attempted something similar in Australia, that person would have faced full brunt of Australian authorities and probably ended up in jail. The point is, different societies have different benchmarks. A religious prayer on loudspeaker may be an internal matter of a community in one country, but for another country, it could be a fit case of public nuisance. Let's compare India and Pakistan. Not so long ago, Indian Parliament passed a law called Citizenship Amendment Act, known as CAA. The law was brought to address a concern for religious minorities facing atrocities in Pakistan. According to this law, vulnerable religious groups such as Hindus, Sikhs, Parsis, Jains, Christians living in Pakistan could become eligible for Indian citizenship. Now, Pakistan could very well say that their treatment of religious minorities is Pakistan's internal issue and foreign countries do not have a right to interfere in it. But if you apply the principle that different countries have different benchmarks, you could argue what Pakistan considers as an internal issue, India is not under obligation to accept it. There is a difference in India and Pakistan's benchmarks on treatment of religious minorities in their respective countries. Over the years, Pakistan's record on persecution of minorities has been pathetic. So, Indian government's refusal to consider mistreatment of minorities as Pakistan's internal matter is perfectly in line with India's own historically established standards of protection of minorities and meeting them consistently, if not perfectly. So, it's clear if one country considers an issue as an internal matter, other countries are not obliged to follow it. The standards to judge human issues are different for different countries. Let's apply this principle in the ongoing situation in India, the farmers' protest. Foreign newspapers have been regularly writing columns on it. Foreign celebrities have been tweeting about it. Foreign parliamentarians have been raising questions in their country's parliament about it. Why there is so much foreign interest in what India has termed as its internal matter? The reason is same. Different countries have different standards. Without going into whether farmers are right or wrong or Indian government's stand, one thing is clear. Liberal Western democracies are treating farmers' agitation in India as a human rights issue. Western society has benchmark for human rights which may be different from India's. We have reached a point where West no longer considers farmers' protest as India's internal issue alone, but a global concern. Hence, they will continue to speak about it. Their voice cannot be suppressed. No threat will work. No social media trolling of Western celebrities will silence them. If at all, the foul language, misogynistic and racism-filled social media attack on Western celebrities is only proving their point correct. This is further damaging India's goodwill. Now, whether Western liberal democracies are right or wrong in not treating farmers' protest as India's internal matter, I leave it on your wisdom to decide. Just one thing we should keep in mind. The principle we apply to judge West's actions, we must apply the same principle to judge our own action. Thank you.